end of the year, a film producer, they were like, oh, we want to do this as a movie. And I was like, really? And we want to film it in Pinang Tunggal. I said, okay. And we want to take your students to act.
Mula teacher kata ada nak buat movie pasal sekolah kita. And then I was like, okay, movie. Macam dalam hati kata, dah aku dapat berlakon ke ni?
She's very cheerful. Like, she's very positive about things.
Cheryl is a bit of want to know that what is happening, you know? And she likes to be in the limelight always.
She's very competitive. She likes to take part in competitions like storytelling.
My name is Cheryl and Fernando. When my students won, they got 5th place for the choral speaking competition, something which we never expected in a small school like Pinang Tunggal. And so entering the competition with 25 other schools, you would think that, you know, I don't stand a chance, but it's okay as long as my students perform. And we started training. We trained for 6 months, I think, 5-6 months for the competition. So it was a lot of, like, the kids were very tired. They trained during puasa time and things like that. And then when we finally got 5th place, it was a shock for like the school, for me, for the kids, for every one of us. We were like, wow, how did we do this? How did we beat 20 other schools who were actually really good as well to get 5th place in an English-speaking competition? So that was when I wrote about the story, and then the story went viral. So like people started sharing it. They were like, oh, this kampung school wins choral speaking competition. So I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? So within like that weekend that we won, we were on Astro Awani, we were on all sorts of, we were on Era FM, Maya Karin talked about us. The kids were like, wow, teacher, we are suddenly celebrities. A film producer, Soul Pictures, they read about the story and then they messaged me and they were like, hey, we are interested to turn this into a movie. And I'm like, okay, you're kidding me, right? I talayan the message. And then they sent again, like, hey, we are really interested, like, can we talk to you? So I was like, okay, we can talk. And then when we met, they were like, oh, we want to do this as a movie. And I was like, really? And we want to film it in Pinang Tunggal. I said, okay. And we want to take your students to act. So when I heard, like, they want to take my students to act, I thought it's a perfect opportunity.
Dan dapat tahu projek dapat berlakon dalam Adiwiraku ni sebenarnya daripada teacher sendiri. Like, mula-mula teacher kata ada nak buat movie pasal sekolah kita. And then I was like, okay, movie. Macam dalam hati kata, dah aku dapat berlakon ke ni? Tapi pada mulanya tu tak. Dia kata like maybe like some actors ke nak berlakon kita. So macam masa tu macam, okay, ada cerita tu excited but sedih. Macam alamak nak berlakon kan dalam sekolah sendiri, dalam cerita sendiri. But then like a few days later ada good news pula. Dia kata like, hey Zidan, you can dapat berlakon apa tu dalam cerita Adiwiraku sebagai diri awak sendiri. Macam, really? Excited gila. Like, macam jerit satu rumah.
When she told me that they are going to make a movie out of all the articles that she has written, I just couldn't believe it. I said, I don't think this is going to happen. Really, I couldn't believe it. So when I saw it as a movie, it was like a surprise. I mean, I really cannot believe it that this can happen.
Let's start practice, shall we?
Okay, miss.
So after I watched it 25 times, I don't feel anything anymore. But the first time I watched it, I was amazed at my students. I was like, is this really my student yang duduk kat kelas tak nak, don't want to answer questions? But he's like so confident as an actor. And I was very shocked looking at the students' performance because they are not professional actors. They have no training. They only did like a 3-day workshop, I think, before acting. So they don't understand like film language or camera, things like that. And to watch them act like real professionals and their emotions really came through the movie, I think I was blown away by that. Like, all the students, like these actual 60 of them acted in the movie, right? So I was just blown away by their performance. And of course it was strange a bit to like hear somebody else having my name in the movie. So every time they call like Teacher Cheryl, I'm like, oh yes, oh okay, no, they're not talking about me. And so it was very strange, but yeah, after 25 times you watch the movie, I'm like, okay.
Please welcome them on stage.
Cerita ni, Adiwiraku ni sebenarnya like cerita dia, kita tahu daripada kisah Teacher Cheryl yang dia lakukan banyak perubahan dekat sekolah tu terhadap dalam diri setiap student tu sendiri. Dan ada like for me dia nak sampaikan satu message kepada penonton yang tengok Adiwiraku ni, like dia macam student sekarang ni masih lagi struggling, like macam kesusahan dia orang mengalami kesusahan hidup dia orang sendiri. So macam kita nak kongsi dekat seluruh rakyat Malaysia untuk bagi diorang tahu yang ada lagi student yang masih struggle dengan benda ni. So like what we would do when we in this situation.
I think a lot of times people don't really look up upon the teaching profession. It's not somebody's first choice of career, things like that. You know, everybody wants to be doctors or engineers or scientists, things like that. But then when you watch the movie, you would actually want to be a teacher. So I've gotten a lot of people said, after watching the movie, I feel like, you know, I feel so semangat, I want to be a teacher.
So like, bila dapat tahu Teacher Cheryl tolong the students yang susah ni macam ni, so kita dapat tahu, oh okay, ada yang masih lagi berfikiran terbuka dan macam nak bagi student orang selesa dengan their surroundings like that. So that is the thing about Adiwiraku.
You suddenly realize like how important a teacher is. And it's not me, it's not that role of Teacher Cheryl, but I felt like that Teacher Cheryl in the movie represented all the other teachers in Malaysia who like go in every day, day in, day out, and they really work hard for the kids. And all these years, like nobody knows about them. We've never had like a proper teacher movie in Malaysia for the past 10 years. So to suddenly have that, I think was very eye-opening. And that was the message. And also about the students. Like regardless of their circumstances, they could like overcome the odds and from like underdogs become like champions and things like that. So that was also a very empowering message in the movie.
Banana, peel, peel, banana. Need ya, Wonder Woman, my dog.
Whether you win or lose, it does not matter. Because in my eyes, you are champions already.
So actually, my degree was in mass communication, and then my master's was in management. And I worked as a PR consultant for 4 years. And then one day I realized like I needed to do something for my country, and I needed to. When I was working in PR, I also used to teach part-time, and I used to teach the underperforming students and refugee students. And I realized how important was it to educate our younger generation. So that was when I made a very brave or scary decision to leave the corporate world and to join a program like Teach for Malaysia and to be posted in Kedah.
So I'm Constance. Just like Cheryl, I did Teach for Malaysia, the Teach for Malaysia Fellowship, where we were sent to Sungai Petani to teach in SMK Pinang Tunggal.
So Teach for Malaysia is a leadership development program where for 2 years they will place young professionals and fresh grads in underperforming schools around Malaysia. So you are there for 2 years and you're given like an 8-week teacher training, like a crash course on teacher training, and then you are placed in a high-need school anywhere around Malaysia. So I was placed in Sungai Petani, Kedah for 2 years, but then I extended it, so I did 3 years of teaching.
Impresi saya terhadap Cikgu Cheryl bila first time dia masuk, macam saya memang minat mata pelajaran dalam bahasa Inggeris dari dulu lagi. So bila aspek saya budak baru dan cikgu baru yang saya kenal ni pun harap-haraplah best bagi saya sebab previous school pun kat JB kan kita dah like terbuka tau dengan situasi macam ni lah. Cikgu India mengajar, cikgu macam different culture, cikgu yang different culture mengajar kita. So for me like okay, biasalah kan ada cikgu India, ada cikgu Cina, ada cikgu Melayu. So like satu bangsa semua ada.
Some classes that I went in, they were really excited. So the moment I came in, they clapped. Yeah, we got this teacher, because they think like, oh, you know, you're new, you're young, you're going to do something interesting.
So saya macam berdasarkan pemerhatian saya dengan diorang react kat cikgu-cikgu macam cikgu Constant dengan cikgu Cheryl ni, macam okay, macam ni jugalah dia punya reaction macam diorang terkejut satu. Dan macam cikgu ni like bila dapat tahu baca bahasa Inggeris, alamak macam jam lah kan, macam alamak bahasa Inggeris, alamak perkara macam diorang paling tak suka sekali kan.
Some classes are like, kenapa you masuk kelas ni? Why are you here? You know, we don't want to learn English. Like, speak in BM, speak in BM. So then we also, on that first day, so we saw the proficiency. We saw how low was their English proficiency, because we came in with the perception that these are Form 1 students or Form 2 or Form 4. So, okay, we can teach them like poetry, I don't know, or whatever that is in the syllabus. So that first day also set the expectations. Oh, okay, so my students are still struggling in English, so we need to like slowly introduce them to English. I try to do a lot of activities in class. So every day is a different activity for them. I try to do a lot of games. We use a lot of pop songs in class. So I try to make it very fun, very interactive, because English it's very difficult to teach English, like teaching mathematics or teaching sejarah. You cannot get them to memorize things, you know. English has to be very fluid, very fun, very interactive. So I try to do that in my class. Not so much focusing on like exams or scores, but really getting the kids comfortable with the language. So yeah, a lot of songs, lots of games, things like that.
Actually, from the beginning, she was helping me in my class. She used to help me as a child. But she didn't take up teaching, even though I did mention to her that I will be happy if she go into the teaching line. But she chose mass comm. And then she was in the PR line. Then one day she said that she want to go and teach voluntary, yeah. She want to go and do this voluntary service, teaching this the refugees children. She wanted to teach them. That was organized in our church. So she went to teach. And then after that, she went to teach in another organization. While she was teaching here, she went into another organization. And she was also working in a PR company. But she can manage all this. So every day she will have something to do. 3 days in one place, another 2 days in another place. So the whole week she was occupied.
When she came and told her that she wants to take part, have joined this Teach for Malaysia, I said, new word for me, teaching. So I said, okay, you want to teach anyway. And then when she came and told me, Sungai, what? Pinang Tunggal in Kedah, and I said, I cannot Google and find a place.
So I became a bit worried about her because she was very small size and, you know, I looked very undernourished. So I wanted her to give up something, but she didn't want to. So I said, you choose one. What do you want? Then when Teach for Malaysia came in, she took the opportunity to apply for it. So I encouraged her also. I encouraged her to apply for it, and she got it. And then she was sent to Sungai Petani.
So until we discovered it was like in a remote area near Sungai Petani and all the things. So we went all the way to send her there and found a house, and all the rompongan, we went there and did all the work for her.
I think when we reached the school, we realized that a lot of our students, so we taught English, a lot of our students struggle to read and write in English. And in our Form 1 class, we had some students who were illiterate, and they struggled to write their name and things like that. And these are things which we think we shouldn't see in Malaysia now, because we think we are almost a developed nation. So that was our first shock and our first realization that it's very important for us to be here and to teach them. If not to pass English, at least for the students to be functionally literate. At least they're able to gain some level of English literacy that they can use in their future, in whatever jobs that they have. So I think that realization was very important for us. community-centered. So I've been teaching here since January, since early this year. The students are from 7 years old to about 14 years old. What we do is that every week we help them with English. So we do a lot of like positive behavior, how not to be bullies, how not to be bullied, how to deal with your emotions and those kind of activities. So today they are doing one on the different emotions. And then next week we will continue with how do you manage all these emotions. So I really enjoy teaching here. I think the kids are great and it helps me to stay connected with students because I've left school, but then I still want to teach. I still want to stay connected with my students. And there are other teachers who help me here. So we have Jennifer, Babani, Sam, so 3 of them. We come every Saturday and teach these kids.
I can see that she's making a lot of progress with herself. She has really, from where she started, now she has really shown a lot of, maturity in the way she thinks, how she chooses her career, how she is so far. I'm so proud of her.
This is something that I always tell them, you're not happy with something, just move on, and you can move on. I find that she has moved on very well and all that. I'm quite proud that she has done to a level. She's no more that reporters who find time and do work and all that. But nowadays, this is very challenging, and I find extremely happy that she has excelled very well, and whatever she's doing now, she always gets our support and all that thing. Especially now I'm retired, so it's easier for her to get all the support and all the things.
Just 2 months ago, I worked with a program called Global School Leaders, where we are looking for underperforming schools in Malaysia, and we train their school principals to have leadership skills to help them transform their school. So, because I believe that when you have a strong leader, sometimes just 1 or 2 people can really make a huge impact in the school. And I saw that in my school, because I had a very supportive principal, and she's like, okay, Cheryl, you can do this program, you can do that program. I mean, if she didn't allow me to do certain things, I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done. So I think that was very important. So that's why I believe in like good, strong leadership in school. So it's to equip these principals with these kind of leadership skills, and for them to say, okay, I'm really going to transform my school. If there are students who cannot read in school, I'm going to help them, or I'm going to make sure that they get the help that they need. So that's the aim of the program. It will pilot in 2018 with 25 schools around KL and Klang Valley. Yeah.
What I think about Cheryl, I think she's a go-getter. She basically aims for something, she has a goal, and she works hard towards it. She's also very resourceful in achieving those goals, and so she'll work really hard, trying to find connections, finding ways to achieve the things that she's set out to do.
She is a very passionate teacher that I've seen since I've known her. Like, she's very cheerful and she really wants the best for the children that she's teaching. So every time she goes out of her way to conduct a lesson, like she will prepare all these kind of materials, stationeries, everything that she needs, so that her classroom is enjoyable and the kids are having meaningful lessons.
She's a really iconic, inspirational figure in Malaysia, in the teaching world. I would say her number 1 quality is the patience. She really identifies with the kids, with their level of learning, and is able to communicate at their level. So on that basis, they feel more confident, more relaxed around her, and they can come out of themselves and start speaking English in a more sort of relaxed way. I think it's important to create the right setting and the right environment to get the kids willing and able to speak English in return.
We definitely wish her success in what she's doing now in the Global School Leaders.
Saya berharap memang teacher Cheryl hidup bahagialah sampai bila-bila, dan macam teacher dapat continue tolong student-student dekat rakyat Malaysia ni yang perlukan sangat-sangat bantuan teacher, dan saya berharap teacher dapat lakukan yang terbaik buat mereka.
The children are going to benefit from this. If she is successful, it means that it is going to benefit the children as well, and the education system as a whole.
So we actually wish her all the best. Cheryl, it's like an inspirational lady that everybody can look at what she's doing.
I like teacher Cheryl. My friends go school, I happy. I very, very happy.
It helps to be enthusiastic, it helps to be passionate, and also not to give up easily. So because I've had so many challenges in school and when you're working before and things like that, I've learned like not to give up. Like I know that there will be hurdles. Even now that I'm starting a new program, definitely there's going to be lots of challenges, but it's just to have a lot of grit and not to give up. So I guess these are the things that helps everything to work. So to all the teachers out there, your work is very important. Like what you are doing actually impacts our future generation, and it's crucial for you. And I'm sure your students know that, and your school knows that as well. Keep doing whatever that you're doing, and be creative in your classrooms, and try to get the students to be engaged and interested in the lessons. And for those of you who are considering to be teachers, I think you should just do it. Like don't hesitate. Even if you're going to do it for like 3 years or 4 years, this is something that you really must experience once in your life. Because when you teach, I always believe that you learn more than you are giving. We always feel like it's not just one way. You come out of the program, or like let's say if you join Teach for Malaysia or you become a full-time teacher, you come out of the program being a better person. And in your perspective of life and the way you look at things, everything will change. So that experience is very important. So go ahead and just do it.